Boy, Moon, you are living in the biggest vacuum of pop culture, and I applaud that. The Looney Tunes have had cycles of pop culture relevance since their inception, and most people's biggest association today is probably Space Jam. The tunes have inspired many creators, including the creators of Spielberg cartoons, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, and Freakazoid. In the early 2000s, Warner Brothers was really struggling to find a way to keep them relevant. Their first attempt to keep them relevant being Baby Looney Tunes, and the second being Duck Dodgers. The third and final show was a series so controversial that it caused Looney Tunes content to be paused for 5 years. But let's skip ahead to 2020. I know, there was. In 2020, Animaniacs got a continuation on Hulu, which I watched to deal with Supernatural being over. I was enjoying myself until this happened. There's 22 Sylvester talking cars. Those guys are these numbers, whatever these guys are. At this moment, my need to rewatch a cartoon from my childhood overtook me. And that's what I did. Lunatics Unleashed ran on Kids WB from 2005 till 2007, following the Looney Tunes' descendants after they gained superpowers and became superheroes. This show is often considered one of the worst things with the Looney Tunes name on it, which I will then point to Baby Looney Tunes. At least things happened in this show. It's disregarded by the whole Warner Company and considered a reminder of what not to do. Exact quotes from the executive. It didn't have reruns on Cartoon Network or Boomerang, and although there are DVD copies of both seasons, it wasn't exactly something they advertised. The only time you're going to get it acknowledged is if you bring it up to the voice actors at cons, and given the lack of visuals in front of me, doesn't happen very often. The only time the show is referenced is to remind people of how bad it is. In all of Warner's media, it's been brought up 3 times. Once in the new Looney Tunes, a second time in Teen Titans Go, did they reboot the Lunatics? And finally in the aforementioned Animaniacs.
What the fuck?
Those last 2 references happened in November of 2020.
Okay,
Despite all
dude,
the
he's got me a
hatred, the
cash.
show isn't actually that bad. This might be nostalgia goggles, but I would actually say it's pretty decent. And most fans of the show are willing to acknowledge that it's far from
He got me.
perfect.
He got me.
The fan base also mostly
Fucking
just gives
came out
us
of nowhere, dude. He's
up to
cashy. He's
date
just another lucky
person
punch.
who found out about it and thought,
I'm
oh,
mad,
that's
dude.
ridiculous. I'm gonna make a video about it, and then found out that it wasn't that bad. Which they can't exactly like watch it legally on any streaming service because they don't exist on there. But like, whatever. I'm not mad about that. The show isn't a masterpiece, but I would argue that there's a lot of untapped potential there. From the premise to the world to the characters to any individual episode. Okay, so this is the hardest part to talk about. No one wanted to document this show. Google was not my friend, but the Lunatics Unleashed wiki was. And even then, I can't find how this idea originally came up, how it got greenlit, why it was greenlit, or anything else involved in actually making this show. The first glimpse that the public saw of the show was when a teaser ad aired on the Kids WB. It starts showing a bunch of Looney Tune merch and an animator drawing several Looney Tunes. Then he's called away and a bunch of animated newsreels announce that there's a meteor going to hit Earth. An inkwell then spells on the drawing and the characters turn into the Lunatics.
What's up, Doc?
I am so glad I never saw this preview as a child and instead just stumbled upon the show by accident. It really only gets worse from here. There's an introduction by a woman named Ursula who says that she was the one who put the team of superheroes together. They then show the heroes in some comic panels and random bits of flash animation. She then introduces the characters. There's Duck, a Duck who is the weapons expert and has built-in sonar. Slick, a coyote who does vehicle surveillance and has regenerative abilities. Roadster, a roadrunner who is the speed. That's it. Lexi, a bunny who is the disguise expert with super hearing. Spaz. Who the fuck? A Tasmanian devil who is the muscle and has jaws of steel. And finally, Buzz, a bunny who is the leader, an expert in martial arts, and has laser vision. Maximo then says that while the characters look familiar, this is a whole new world. The world of the lunatics. The preview received massive backlash from pretty much everyone. There was even a petition by an 11-year-old to protest the series. Luckily, this preview was released during pre-production, and it gave creators time to reimagine character designs, change names, and retitle the series Lunatics Unleashed. So the Sonic movie wasn't the first time that the internet complained its way into causing changes. The designs were changed from an edgy to a softer look that they would use for the series. But the premise alone was still hated by many fans. The idea of a dark, gritty Looney Tunes reboot was just something that didn't appeal to people. Like, even other companies were confused as to why this show was happening. There was still hope from the production staff, but people would at least give the show a chance, though. It was 2005, Twitter wasn't a thing yet, so excuse their blind faith in humanity. The show then went into production. When there was actually some material for it, a new trailer was released on the Kids WB. It was met with a more positive reception, but a lot of people had already made up their minds about the show. I would say it's too little too late, but they literally changed the tone, the characters, a whole lot, and people still decided it was going to be garbage. A lot of the backlash came from the idea that these were meant to be the original Looney Tunes redesign, that this was a permanent change. In reality, this was something more akin to Tiny Toons. I think if the original advertising didn't exactly show the Looney Tunes literally becoming the Lunatics and instead kind of embrace the completely separate characters angle, it wouldn't have received as much backlash as it did. There would still be backlash though. Looney Tunes fans are kind of insane.
If English isn't your first language like me, and you want your writing to reflect your voice, consider trying Grammarly Pro today to elevate your skills. Grammarly Pro can help translate my primary language flawlessly and does it right when I'm writing. Another pro feature that I love is their one-click rewrite. This helps me rephrase entire sentences and paragraphs because these days less is more when it comes to your writing. Consider trying Grammarly Pro today to elevate your skills, because using Grammarly helps me go from English as my second language to my second nature.
The mountains are my favorite place to get away and be together. With Lazy Dog, I wanted to create that same experience for our guests. Whether you're meeting up for happy hour, getting the whole group together to celebrate, or looking for a delicious dinner at home, we're your local store. Great ingredients are at the heart of our scratch kitchen, so we look for partners that put the same care into their craft as we do. So stop by and get back to what really matters.
The premise of this show, aside from being a Looney Tunes superhero reboot, is not to say it's super unique, but it's definitely interesting. In the year 2772, a meteor strikes the city planet of Metropolis, tilting the planet off its axis and unleashing powers onto the world. You are going to get this premise very fast because they say it at the start of every episode of Season 1. But I want to highlight some things. The first is that the planet is called Metropolis and not Earth. We all know it's Earth, but they call it Metropolis. Why is that? So we all know the Acme Corporation from the Looney Tunes. They're the company that makes the products for Wile E. Coyote and also kind of became a generic company used in most Warner Brothers cartoons, such as Acme Anchors and Acme Lumineers came from Tiny Tim. But to get where I'm going with this, we need to talk about the corporation's part in Looney Tunes back in action. Yes, this has a point. In the film, Acme is a large corporation who really wants to make 3-year-olds work in sweatshops to make their product, and also wants to be evil. Just straight up saying.
Got
They
your
want to
son.
take over the world.
You got your shit,
But
boy.
aside from
Oh,
that, Acme has come to a position where they're basically a proto Amazon.
oh, fuck! I got
They
you,
sell you
son.
cheap products that can get to you very quickly.